everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Uptime with APC. I'm your host, Joe Treadwell, and today we'll be talking about all things e-commerce, how it's been driving the channel, how it's been affecting our business, how it's been affecting our customers' business. We as consumers, we as business professionals, we live and breathe e-commerce these days. There's really no way to get around it. And this conversation is also very timely. As many of you know, I'm sure you've heard of Ingram's new Xvantage platform. We're a very involved vendor on the rollout of that platform, and we're excited. So this topic of e-commerce is very timely. So today's guest is no stranger to APC or the world of e-commerce. We'd like to welcome Dawn Rundell, who is our director of e-commerce. So Dawn, welcome to the broadcast.
Great, thanks for having me, Joe. Pleasure to be here and talk about one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, I agree. So welcome for sure. I think I've been with APC for 13, going on 14 years now, and I think you have me beat, right?
Yeah, I think, I hit 15 years in September. So a little bit, but yeah, I've been here 15 years, and I would say that, the last, talking about e-commerce, the last 5 to 7 years have been probably the most exciting, just based on the acceleration of the business.
Yeah. Well, and I think to me, that's a testament of our company. There's a lot of folks that have been around a long time. We've seen our business change. We've seen the channel change, and we've come along with it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So APC, we're best known for, high class or best in class UPS, racks, PDUs, and lesser for our software offer, but that offer is really growing. But again, really today we wanted to focus on e-commerce as a platform and how it's impacting our business, as I mentioned before. So just to kind of level set with everybody out there, how do we define e-commerce through our lens?
Yeah, great question. I'm glad you asked that, because e-commerce is a very broad term. The overarching meaning is customers buying product and services online through a digital transaction that might necessarily not require a retail store or an intermediary or a salesperson. So the purpose of what we're talking about today, to your point, is that digital merchandise transaction. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So based on that, and the reason I asked that question is because a lot of folks, we're not talking about EDI transactions. We're talking about true, you go online, you purchase a product, pricing is accurate, everything works, and you buy that product. We're not talking about, again, email or EDI transactions. So I always like people define it differently. So in today's selling environment, give us a little background on why e-commerce is so important.
Yeah, listen, great question, because I think, you said it on your opening that, things have shifted, the business is changing, and really with the global pandemic, we can all agree that as consumers, we're buying product differently. We're also engaging with our B2B partners differently. An example, as consumers, we're buying online every day, right? We're shopping online, we're getting groceries delivered. It's that new expectation of that seamless digital transaction, right? As consumers, we expect, ample content. We expect that, there's product selector tools. We want to shop on our devices, like our mobile device. And, we want it delivered, like yesterday. So we have all these new, this expectation as a consumer. And now we're finding that, this is bleeding into, and has over the last many years, 5 to 7 years, is bleeding into our B2B business. And if you look at the slide we're sharing, a recent study shows that, 70% of business buyers want that same, customer experience, which is no surprise. So that drives, Gartner's estimation that 43% of business customers prefer a rep-free experience. So that's pretty significant. If you look at this, digital natives, the millennials and the Gen Zs, that's going to even drive that higher, as you can see, are at 54%. So noteworthy is that this newer generation, these digital natives, are going to be 65% of the workforce in 2025. So that's why you see here that Gartner's estimating by 2025 that 80% sales interactions are going to be, through a digital channel. So when we see these kind of statistics and we see this shift happen in our business, it's so crucial for us as a partner, as a manufacturer, to be engaging with our customers and our partners and to help accelerate this.
Yeah, when you and I were preparing for today's discussion, when I saw some of these statistics up on the screen, I knew them, but when you see them put in numbers and put in writing, it just really underscores how critical it is to be buttoned up, tight on message, tight on content, and accurate on price, everything. So some of these statistics, again, not shocking, but surprising when you see them in writing. So, as we kind of evolve the conversation here, how's the growth of e-commerce? Again, we've seen the business change a lot over the last many years, but how has it shaped our business in particular?
Yeah, again, we are, a channel-friendly partner, right? We're channel first. Distribution is, the backbone of our business. And so for us, we have to align with where the growth is. We have to align where our partners, need our support. And so, one of the ways we get feedback is, through an e-commerce survey we have every year, and we understand from our partners their priorities. We understand, their platform refreshes or new tools that they're going to, deploy. And so for us, we take all that feedback and we actually, for the last years have been revamping our support and revamping the resources that we supply our partners through things like content. You can't believe how much time, effort, resources are put into content, because content, if you think about it, is constantly evolving as well, right? We used to watch 2-minute videos. Now everyone wants it in 15 seconds. So, you're constantly refreshing that piece. And then syndication is one that we've had to, again, invest in, as we want to make sure that the content gets to our partner sites. So these, along with different types of tools, along with, even resources as people, right? We have an eCam team now that goes out and works with partners to help, I guess, bring this conversation forward and prioritize it and deploy some of these tactics. So this is what we've had to do. I mean, it's something that will continue to evolve, but we're happy to do it because, really we want to drive this digital transformation with our partners.
Yeah, and we live and breathe in a pretty complex category, right? From a power standpoint, it's not just a dumb battery in a box. There's a lot more to it. So there's a lot of true value that we can bring to our partners to accelerate their time in the field, maybe on an installation, or there's a lot of it's not just a transactional message that we can deliver. It's an informational message. It's a how-to message that we can help really assist these customers along their way. So that goes along with e-commerce as a transactional venue or channel, but also from a content-driven channel. So and we want to make sure we're leveraging all of that. So kind of bringing the conversation back around so if you put your shoes on, you put your partner hat on, what's the expectation from the partner community as it relates to e-commerce?
Yeah, I think everyone's, evolving, assessing. I think that, the expectations from, like a distributor perspective or reseller perspective is just, to find ways to plug into that seamless digital transaction, right? I think you said it in your example, being able to go online at any time to make the purchase, making sure that there's ample data, engaging content, white papers, anything that they would need to understand to actually execute that transaction. And then just, the basics, right? The pricing, having transparency in like the shipping, supply, fulfillment. And then the final piece, which will evolve if it's not already in some capacity, is the analytics. And the analytics help drive, the metrics for efficiency and scalability. So I think that's, again, evolving rapidly, but the expectations are evolving, which we have just talked about.
Yeah. So what can partners do on their own to help ready themselves, depending on where they are in their e-commerce journey?
Yeah, and you make a good point, because all of our partners are at different stages of their digital, journey. And so we have, partners that are, if it's either novice, if it's adopter, or a digital leader, at the basic, it's the content, and it's finding the opportunity and the source for content, whether that's plugging into the distribution platform to obtain the content, and or in parallel working directly with a manufacturer or accepting syndication. So, it's the content piece. It's, plugging into the tools that are accessible. Many manufacturers such as ourselves, we have product selector tools. Sometimes it requires a little bit of hand holding to implement, but these tools, allow the partners to scale, and it is a huge efficiency play, as we're seeing that, our future customers and current customers want self-service tools. So I would just encourage, our partners to be open to the conversation and looking for ways to help, drive this either through distribution or through the manufacturer engagement.
Yeah. So, and I had mentioned before, kind of bring this whole conversation back around. We're very engaged with Ingram's new Xvantage platform. We were engaged on a very early stage in providing feedback to Ingram, and as this platform builds out, we're making sure we're doing all we can as a vendor to help distribute or deliver the best content we can and the most accurate information that we can. Because again, e-commerce is only becoming more and more important all the time. I would be remiss if I didn't also point out, though, e-commerce, while there's a lot of advantages, there's also certain things that will never replace human contact with. So for any of you partners out there that don't know, that are viewing this, no matter how big or small you are as an APC reseller, you do have a dedicated APC resource, sales resource. So up on the screen now, I've got a couple of our key folks up on our APC team at Ingram sitting on site there. Their contact information is up on the screen, so reach out to them early and often. Again, we want to try to give you as much information as we can digitally, so you can do as much as you want to do digitally. But then again, this team here, best in class, very educated on APC. And again, if you need a resource, a field resource, or even an inside sales resource, reach out to us early and often, and we can help configure deals, make sure you're getting the right product, or give you any help you may need. So that way, sort of a hybrid e-com live person strategy. So that's it for today, guys. Dawn, as always, I appreciate you taking the time to shine a little light on this thing called e-commerce. And again, if anyone else has any questions, reach out to the folks on the screen. We're here to help as best we can. So thanks again, everyone, and see you on the next episode.